This is our first set of video lectures, and it's about the approaches to international relations. So before watching this any further, please make sure you've read and taken notes on the introduction chapter and chapter 1 in your textbook. You will understand this a lot better, I think, if you've already read the material in the textbook. So please do that first. If you should all still have your textbook. If you don't, and you're still waiting on its arrival, go ahead, go through this, and let me know when you expect it in. But ideally, read your textbook first, then please view the presentation set and take notes. It's important that you take notes both in your textbook writing or your textbook reading and this set of lectures as something to study from. There's a play control on the screen, so you can easily backtrack, take a look at the play control, and pause it, rewind it, fast forward it. So please make use of those if you need. You'll notice that this video lecture is broken down into subsections. So this list, each one is a little shorter, so it's broken down into little sections. So it's a little easier too if you find yourself having to view this in parts because you are busy taking care of your home, or that's how you have to space things out, or you like to think about it a little bit more before going on, or learning a concept before you go on. That's fine, and that's one of the reasons why it's broken down. But as you go through this set, please take notes on it and write down any questions that you may have. And I will let you know how to deal with those questions at the end of this presentation set. So we start our first activities, our first material, with the perspectives level of analysis and causation in international relations. So what we mean by perspectives, there's a set of perspectives that your book has grouped, and I'll stick with those for consistency. But these are the dominant modes or ways of looking at international relations. The easiest way, they are theories, they are approaches, and the easiest way to sort of look at it, and one of the reasons why I played with my glasses for the moment here, is that these perspectives are much like a good pair of glasses. When I put on my reading glasses, I am going to be able to see my text that I'm reading very well, but what I may miss in my close-ups is a clear picture of what's far away. So I have to take my glasses off, or what I do is I dangle them on my nose and I look up over them to see what's far away, and I look down like this to read up close. It's not the best look. You're not going to see someone walking the red carpet at the Emmys like this, but useful. And the point simply being that perspectives in international relations are a lot like the reading glasses you use to examine international relations. And they are broken among these 4 groups in your book: realism, liberalism, identity, perspective, and critical theory. Now, the critical theory we'll get to in detail. We'll get into all of these in detail, but the critical theory one, the way your book splits it up, just know that it consists of a number of actual perspectives, and your author, for the sake of ease, since this is an introduction to international relations, puts a term critical theory to describe a number of different perspectives, and we'll look specifically at those in a later presentation, or later part of the presentation. So just as you have your glasses for perspectives, you also have levels of analysis. So you look at large international systems. So for example, large international systems of relations, large international systems of economy, of trade, etc., as one influence in international relations. So how do countries trade with each other? How do they interact? And what is the world system? Do I have a little country that doesn't have a great deal of capital and wealth and doesn't produce much of value for this big system? We also look at domestic. And it's important to understand, very important to understand, that a lot of foreign policy of any nation, of any country, is incredibly linked to domestic policy. In other words, domestic policy often drives international relations as far as a single country is concerned. So if a particular issue is of concern to, say, the United States, that not only drives domestic policy, but that also drives our foreign policy as well. And we'll talk about that more specifically in examples later on. We will also discuss causation. So, very simply put, causation is what causes a concern, a problem on the international scale, and how do we examine those causes? And often what causes we see often relates back to that set of glasses we wear when we're looking at international relations. And the final part of this, before we move any further, is these perspectives are really theories. They're really approaches or ways of viewing the world and international relations. Because of this, we have to ask ourselves, what's in a theory? By training, I'm a historian. So historians like to think that we put aside theories, but that's not necessarily true. We live in a world where we deal with a lot of facts from the past and try to reassemble those facts as best as possible. Now, that doesn't mean we don't adhere to some theories. Theories are helpful in organizing thoughts, in examining a problem, in assembling a sort of a puzzle of a situation. It doesn't mean that they are something that you rely on consistently as the end-all, be-all explanation of things. They are a helpful way, or a helpful tool, a helpful set of glasses, if you will, to examine the problems of the past, or the current, or the future. So you will see people in international relations to this day arguing over the causes of the First World War, and they will have different perspectives on what causes that. Now, what influences perspectives? That becomes an interesting problem in and of itself. So, for example, if I am someone from, say, a country like, we'll pick Rwanda, because Rwanda is a country that was, at the time of World War I, part of the Belgian Congo. My worldview, my perspective on the relations between countries or the causes of wars may be very, very different, okay, because of the way I view the world or how I see the world functioning may be very different than, say, Henry Kissinger in the United States. My background, my formative experiences, and the perspective I have from being in my country and how it operates within that world system is going to influence my perspective. But it is also helpful to understand all of these different theories and perspectives. That's a lot on perspectives. Okay. So these are the key concepts we'll discuss in depth in this set of video presentations in our first unit, or during our first week.